so who knows what it'll do down there. So, you be careful, he says gruffly, and hangs up. Now I'm bereft. There's no pleasing me. I could have 8 husbands, or none, and I'd still have this edgy, empty feeling. It's not even depression, which I imagine is at least relaxing. This is more like an illness, one that's not serious enough to warrant any sympathy, just a long, long stretch of feeling lousy. It started to snow down here about an hour ago. I'm surprised Andrew didn't know that, since the Weather Channel is one of the 3 he watches. The other 2 are PBS and the History Channel, naturally. He's a history professor. The snow was what made us fall over each other in the doorway, the puppy and me. My hiking boots left wet blotches on the kitchen floor, melting snow seeping into the cracks between the old pine boards. First snow of the season. What if I were snowed in for Christmas, the unspoken date by which Andrew and I are supposed to reconcile? Snowed in at our cabin all by myself, alone at Christmas for the first time in 20 years. The thought makes me shiver. Not with dread, an illicit thrill, like shoplifting must be, or committing a victimless crime. The dog waddles over to her bowl, toenails clicking, pudgy belly bulging from side to side. I sigh and pick myself up, go outside to retrieve the armload of wood I dropped in my haste to answer the phone. Mr. Bender, the man who does odd jobs and out-of-season maintenance on our cabin, has taken to stacking the wood he brings all the way out by the shed. He's such a surly old coot. I think he does it on purpose, so I'll have to walk farther. We bought the cabin 3 years ago, but it might as well be 3 days as far as Mr. Bender is concerned, or 30 years. We'd still be the new people, rich Washingtonians spoiling the pristine Virginia countryside with our traffic and pollution, our estate developments eating up the beautiful old farms. Never mind that Andrew and I are anything but rich. In fact, we're poor now that Chloe's in college. Never mind our cabin's been here since the 40s, and we have personally saved it from rotting into the mossy ground with a lot of improvements we couldn't afford. We're still the new people to Mr. Bender, and still not welcome. I've become an expert at keeping the fire in the wood stove going, formerly Andrew's job. The stove is tiny, but so is the kitchen. If I close the door to the living room, it's warm as a kiln in here. I sprawl in my mother's old padded rocker with her shawl around my shoulders and my feet on one of the couch pillows I use for a footstool. I love the quiet, just the hiss of the stove and the tick and slide of snow against the window. The dog asleep beside me on the rug, not chewing it for a change. I wonder if I would be lonely without her. I never used to come down to the cabin without Andrew. I thought I'd be scared by myself. But I'm not, and she's certainly no watchdog. I was thinking of naming her Sock, because she has one white paw. Dogs are supposed to be especially sensitive to the K sound, I've heard. Is that funny? Sock instead of socks? I like funny names for pets. Andrew would come up with something funny. When Chloe was little, he'd make her laugh by christening her dolls and stuffed animals Uriah or Orville, Saffron, Primavera. But of course, consulting Andrew is not a possibility in this case. The way we got the puppy, or rather what happened afterward, pretty much squashes that option. We were coming home from the history department trimester break party. Exams had ended the day before, vacation was starting, so everybody was in a good mood and drank too much. Everyone but me, anyway. I probably drank too much, but I was in a bad mood. But I've been in a bad mood since last summer when my mother died. Then Chloe went off to college and, I don't know, I can't seem to find my footing, my old self. I go around like a ghost, no bones, no blood. I feel like I barely cast a shadow. The doctor thinks I might be hitting menopause early. Trauma can do that, she said. Something was wrong with me that night. I mean, obviously. I walked out on my husband, apparently over a dog. The only warning I had, and only in retrospect, was that every time I looked at Andrew, who stood almost the whole night in Richard Weldon's dim foyer with his back to the wall, as far from the thick of things as he could possibly get without going outside, it was as if his outline had